Hello again. We're going to continue on with the gateway questions for Math 104. This is number 15, which falls into the category of number 11 through 22, where we're going to be solving for a variable. In this case, it's hard to read. It's a v1 in an expression, or in an equation. So how many v1s do we have? We have v1, and we have another v1. And that second v1 is pretty deep in there. Now, we're always going to follow the same steps here. Isolate the variable, factor for the variable, and then divide. Isolating is always the hardest part, and what we're going to do is we're going to start off by clearing the denominator. So clearing the bottom. And when we clear the denominator, we're going to do this until there's no denominator left. We're actually going to have to do it twice on this one. So the denominator here is everything in those parentheses. So let's do that. Let's multiply both sides by the denominator. That leaves us with this long expression times v equals v1 plus v2. Pretty messy. Let's distribute. So we'll take this v through on both sides. So we'll distribute the v. So what are we left with us on this right-hand side, or this left-hand side? We're left with v plus v, v1, v2, c2. So let's reassess where we are. We're trying to isolate here. Where's v1? v1 and v1. Okay, not quite isolated. Isolated means we're going to get every term that has v1 onto one side. Now, on this left-hand side we have v1, but we don't have this v1, so what we'll do is we'll take it to the left-hand side. And on the left-hand side we have this v term that doesn't have a v1, so we'll take it to the right-hand side. That will isolate our variable for us. So now what we have is v, v1, v2, all divided by c2. We subtracted the v1 over. And on the right-hand side we had a v2, and we subtracted over a v. Now we have the v1 isolated. On the left-hand side we have v1, and on the right-hand side we have no v1s. We now move to factoring. When we factor, we're going to remove the v1 from the expression on the left-hand side. When we factor, this is what's left on the left-hand side. We'll take out the v1. From this first term, what we have left is v, v2 divided by c2. And because we removed v1 completely, all that's left is 1. Think about your multiplicative identity. When you remove everything, 0's not there, 1 is there, because we're working with multiplication. And on the right-hand side, it's still the same. So we have isolated, then factored. Now we're going to divide. We're going to divide away the parts that are not the variable we're looking at, v1. So what is the solution? What is v1? v1 is the right-hand side divided by the factored piece. And this is our solution for the gateway. v1 is that long expression. No need to try to simplify this.